Say something that will make my day.
Never knew what it means. What would you think?
Humanity.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
It's like everything that a human being was conditioned.
So maybe let me just start by introducing myself. Sanbonani dumelang di masiari abuti no buani. Podarte titubem lochani habari absheni minjani goeiedag. My name is Nobuntu G. Obubuntu bam.
Now my bed feels just like cobblestone. Oh, where did she go? Oh,
Abusheni, Minjani, Mifukile, welcome back to my channel. We are going on a work conference, work training, all the way Benoni, east of Johannesburg. So yeah, we are sleeping over for one night, and it's a 3-day course or 3-day long training. It started yesterday. Today is day 2. My Uber is literally a minute away, so let's go. I hope you're right. I hope you're relevant. Betunan.
Never knew what it means. What would you think?
Humanity.
Exactly. Ubuntu.
Uh-huh.
It's like everything that a human being was conditioned to become or accustomed to be. It's there in you,
was I supposed to know that she'd leave? Was I too naive to think that she'd be the one? Whoa. Why did she go? I met her back in 2005.
What's your camera?
It was a crooked little smile that caught my eye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Time went by and it was her and I.
Yeah.
Also, it uses the sensor of Nikon. I'm a filmmaker, so I know.
I know, you told me this.
Under the lights, you look so amazing. It's the moonlight that makes me wonder why we separated.
Thanks,
Or am I faded? You shine so bright, it's an understatement. Single is overrated. If you get too close, my baby, might let you take me back. Take me back, baby. Take me back, baby, baby, baby. Take me back, baby. Hindsight is 2020. You've been so patient. Oh, I kept you waiting. You want me back, baby.
Outfit check. Oh, you guys remember this jersey from Shein? Pants are from Woolies. This top is from Cotton On. And then I'm wearing my Puma sneakers. Very old. And the face is my mom and dad. Joking. Okay, we finally here. I'm very late, but it is what it is. It ain't what it's supposed to be, but what it do, baby. Let's go. To say I am tired is an understatement. I am exhausted. I am beyond exhausted. Adulting though does not take a break. It does not take a break, Sanalam. I'm grateful that I work in a place where it's mandatory for us to take leave in December. So 3 weeks to go. I'm definitely counting down to that one. Other than that, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But guess Anna, we move. I think going back home, I'm just gonna Uber from here straight to home because the admin of traveling to Sentin train station, catching a train to OR Tambo International Airport, navigating to the outside to then request another Uber to come to this hotel. Definitely better than driving, but it was too much admin. Remember these 10 mil decanting original perfumes that I buy from Upmarket Sense. This one is 1 million by Paco Rabanne, and I keep them in my handbag for refreshing purposes. Yeah, so that's what I'm spritzing on right now because it's been a while since I left the house. And yeah, I guess I think Ubering straight home will be better, and I think it will be cheaper because Gautrain ticket from Sandton station to OR Tambo is 219 rand, and Uber from the OR Tambo to this hotel was 155 rand, and Uber from my house to Sandton station was 100 rand. So yeah, it was 400 and what, 50 something rand in total. And I think if I Uber straight from here to home, it would definitely be less than that. So I think going back, that's what I'm gonna do. Although when I was filling up my Gautrain card, I asked for a return, but it doesn't expire. So I'll just top up next time when I need to use my card, or just use those funds for my next trip. I'll also show you guys the outside. The outside is very nice. I think I've shown you snippets of my room. Nothing fancy too, but all I need is a bed to sleep on just for tonight, because you guys already know I've traumatized you with my nightmare traffic stories already. Okay guys, let me go attend the training. I'm already late. Better to be late than never arrive. Mwah.
Carry emotions, the weight of the ocean. You keep climbing mountains, too blind to see. It's not getting you closer to where you wanna be in your life. The weight on your shoulders, time to put it down. You fall and you break, you got back.
And action. I haven't done that in a minute. I haven't done that in a while. I've been wanting to do that. So I thought, let me do this sit down segment, right? And for those of you who don't know, I am a nurse in my profession. Qualified as a professional nurse, and then I advanced in primary health care as well as travel medicine. I work in a Center for Student Health and Wellness in a university based in Johannesburg, South Africa. I've been working there for 5 years now. It's been exam season in the month of November. We are now in the last week of November, and my babies receiving their results. Some are having to write supplementaries, some have failed modules, some have passed with distinctions. And I just thought, maybe I need to shoot a video like this because there might be others out there who are experiencing similar things and maybe need to hear this from someone else. So I'm gonna do a brief background on myself in terms of how I came about where I am now, right? I'm a 35-year-old female. At the time of doing my matric, we had career days in school. We were taken to career days in other, companies where you were bombarded with a lot of information in terms of what you can study, what subjects you need to have to study those careers, and the marks you need to have, which I felt was a bit too late to change anything because already you had chosen the subjects that you were doing in grade 10, which is done at 8, and you could not change the subjects that you were doing by then, it was already too late if you maybe opted for something that required other subjects. The number two Factor was also that you were now told you needed your grade 11 marks to be really good. And I felt like if I knew this before, I would have taken grade 11 more seriously, you know. Also, the fact that I honestly had no idea what I wanted to study after matric. I was clueless. People kept on asking, what do you gravitate towards? What is it that you like doing? And I had friends who knew, who were sure what it is that they wanted to study after matric. And I felt like there's something wrong with me because I did not know. Every time I was asked that question, my answer would be, I don't know. I really honestly did not know. I had no idea. All I knew was that I wanted to help people. I knew that I was a good listener. And I knew that I wanted to make a living for myself. You know, my mom was a homemaker, and she instilled in my sister and I that should we get married, we must make sure that we have a career and we have our own money because of the experiences that she had had that were not all positive in being dependent solely on a man. So I knew that being a homemaker was not going to be enough for me. I needed to study, but what I did not know. Fast forward, I matriculate. My marks are university exemption. I think that's what it was called at the time. So I qualified to apply to university. I think I had applied, at 3 universities or so, and I did not get accepted in any of them. I also did not know what I wanted to study, so I applied for social work, I think for HR and also for psychology. And there was no money. My dad was a blue collar worker. He had already taken my older brother to varsity from his own pocket. So he was not going to be able to afford taking me as well. He did not have money. He had made that clear, so I needed to get a bursary or a miracle needed to happen. So then after matric, my parents were all excited. My dad was very proud of me, I will not lie. Back then, it was when in South Africa you used to look for your name in the newspaper. I remember at first my dad had brought home the wrong newspaper. So because we stayed in a mine town called Carltonville, previously it had fallen under another province, Northwest, but then later on was changed back to be under Gauteng. So my dad had bought a Northwest newspaper and I remember frantically looking for my name and not finding it. And I was panicking and I was like, but how could this have happened? Only to find the mistake later because I called one of my friends who had said she saw my name in the newspaper. But I was like, no, but it's not there. And then we realized that the newspaper was wrong. So we had to drive to another town because, nearby towns, the newspapers were sold out. And my name was there. And then, my dad was very proud. My parents were very proud. They really made it a big deal. But I still did not understand what it meant because for me it was like, Gafana, it was all the same to me. And so I was forced to take a gap year the following year. And it was the most difficult year, I could say. It really tested me as a person. It really tested my faith. It tested my relationship with my parents. I would say I really learned how to pray during that year. That year was a difficult year. I was really made to feel it, I really felt useless. I felt like, what was the point of it all, if this is how it ends? I went looking for jobs, printing CVs, one shop to another, anything. I will sweep the floor. I will do the till. I will pack the goods on the shelves, the clothes on the racks, anything. I will do it, But yeah, I was never called back for a job anyway. And Sana, it ended with my dad saying, you know what, you're gonna go and join the South African Defence Force. There was an advert on the radio. They are looking for 18 to 35-year-olds. You're turning 18 soon, so when you do turn 18, you must apply and go there. So in the year of my gap year, I was 17, right? Because I did matric when I was 16. Sana, I was crying. I was like, no, I don't want to be in the military. It's not my dream. And I don't see myself surviving, So I really started praying. I started fasting. I started not eating because, you know, there were comments about how people who don't work or go to school finish the grocery during the day. So I would intentionally go days without eating, just making meals for others and dishing up for them, and then not feed myself because, you know, there are comments, you know, shady comments. I really felt worthless that year. I don't want to lie. My mom then is told by a family friend that there is an advert in one of the Sunday newspapers recruiting nurses for 4-year learnerships, and there would be also a stipend while they are studying. My mom says, tomorrow we are going to the offices in Fox Street in Johannesburg, CBD. Truly, we did that. We went, we filled in the forms. We took back home forms for my brother and for other neighbors who also were in the same situation as me, so to say. All my mom's idea, by the way. And then, yeah, months later, my brother and I both were called back for a psychometric test, which we both went to at the same time, and we wrote in the same venue. We woke up like 3 a.m. in the morning, and then we wrote those tests for the whole day. And prior to us writing the tests, my mom found someone at church who has been a nurse for years and is now a matron, and asked her, like, what kind of questions will they be asking? Can you brief my children so that they are prepared when they go there? Because I honestly had no idea what nursing was. I had no idea what subjects would be done. I honestly had no idea. And yeah, so the lady at church tried to brief us. You know, we went for the psychometric test, but none of the things she mentioned were there. Obviously, times had changed. But also, again, fast forward 3 months later, I was called back for an interview. Almost there. I was like, Lord, you have been good. You've been answering my prayers. And, you know, same thing. My mom found someone, prep us up. What kind of interview questions can they expect, etc., etc. Also, none of those were asked. But you know what? You know, we tried to prepare. So there were 6 candidates at a time, right, that would go into the interview room, and then there were like 4 to 6 people in the interview panel, and each of them got a chance to ask a question. I kid you not, in all the answering of questions, I was always the last one to answer because I was never the first one to raise my hand because I had no idea what questions they were asking. So they were asking questions that were related to nursing, obviously. And I would steal answers from these people that had answered before me and try to like put them in my own words, but basically regurgitating whatever information they had shared, because there were also those who were very enthusiastic because they had done this before. I remember one lady was already a healthcare worker, but she was on a voluntarily basis. So she was exposed to the nursing industry, but she was just not yet in it. You know what I mean? So she was very enthusiastic. She was always the first one to put up her hand. That was the rule. Like you all ask one question and then you put up your hand, and then in the order that you've put up your hand, you all get a chance to answer. And my parents had both went with me for the interview. So after the interview, I remember walking out and my mom asking me, how did it go? And I was like, I don't think I'm going to be called back. I had never done an interview in my life before, remember? I'm 17 years old, and I had never done an interview. I had never been exposed to one, you know? And I also, I think, was not eloquent enough, so I was not really expressive of myself. And I just felt stupid. I was like, yo, Sana, after all that hard work, it has all gone down to the drain. That was me, concluded already. Uti, you know what? I did not make the cut. Sharp. Did I not wait for that letter to come into the mail? And when it did, I was so excited. It said, come for orientation in November. You'll be starting in January. Yo, guys, I could not believe it. I was elated, I was excited. I had no idea what I was going to get into, but I was excited nevertheless because I was no longer going to be at home. I was going to be doing something, and not only that, my fees are going to be paid for by the government because it's a learnership, but also I'm going to be earning a stipend. I'm going to be able to provide for not only myself, but I'm going to be able to give my mom some money. Sana orientation came, and that's when there was a little bit of light where I was like, oh, light bulb moment. Now I see what this nursing thing is. Literally, when I started in first year, I met people of all ages, right? There was a 54-year-old in my class. There was a 45-year-old in my class who had been saying, I've been applying for the past 6 years. And eventually I was taken. And with me, it was one time, first time, and I was in. How fortunate was I? But yeah, and then I fell in love in my second year. When I was doing second year, I remember, I think it's a module or a subject called biological nursing science. When I did that course, I think it was first year actually. Was it second year? But I remember the lecturer's name was Mem Musito. Oh, she had so much energy. She explained the pathophysiology. Oh my goodness, like you understood the textbook. Like if you listened in her lectures, listen to what she says, take notes, go back to your room, go through the actual textbook with your notes, remember how she was in class, you would get a distinction. I fell in love. I was like, oh, I fell in love with my profession. And I know people don't like it when people say nursing is a calling, it's not a profession, but you really need to be called for it to really be a good nurse. But yeah, I fell in love with it. 4 years went by. I was excelling in all the years that I was there. I was part of the top 3, part of the top 2 every year. And prize giving, my name was always there. I did really well, got along with my lecturers, made really good friends. I had the time of my life. Literally had the time of my life, and qualified at the age of 21. Was I 21? Graduated, and then started working, and I was really passionate about my job. Still wanted to go further with my studies, and then became a victim of nurses eating their young. Fortunately, people that were in power, who were able to determine whether I get to study further or not at the time, felt threatened, for lack of a better word, and did not allow me those opportunities to study further. But I also think because of a lot of things that were going on at the time, I probably did not fight hard enough. I should not have let that happen, but in retrospect, everything happens for a reason. And I think it all molded me in my profession, but also in my personal development to the person that I am now, And then many years later, I ended up where I am now, and working with young people and seeing myself in them, Whenever you ask a young person, was this your first choice, whatever they're studying at the time, it's very common for them to answer, no, it wasn't. It's very common for them to say, I'm struggling, with my course. I'm struggling with my modules. I'm not doing well. And I always say, when you feel like you failed, it's not failure, it's room for improvement. Because when you do it again, you'll do it better. And it's okay to be confused as a 19-year-old and not know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You still not figured out yourself. You don't even know what kind of a person you are yet, let alone us expecting you to understand what kind of a career you want for the rest of your life. Because also that's the mentality we have, that once you do one degree, you have to stick to that career. And many times now, I see a lot of young people say, no, I'm going to study this, and then after 4 years, I'm going to venture into this, So understand that the opportunities are endless, especially after COVID. I feel like we live in a global society where we have access to things that are just beyond the borders of South Africa. So when you do try to find what you're going to study next year, if you're in your matric year, and you can't find something that you like yet, research. Go onto YouTube, search, talk to people, network, job shadow. If there's something that you think you're interested in, but you don't really know the intricacies of it and what it entails, find someone who does it. Go onto LinkedIn, find people's profiles, write emails, say, hi, I'm an 18-year-old Nobuntu. I'm really interested in cybersecurity. I see your profile says that this is what you do. Would you mind if I job shadowed? Would you mind being my mentor? But also be careful, because we live in a very unsafe society. But put yourself out there, be a sponge, absorb as much information as you can. And if you still don't know, take a gap year. I know when I say this to young people, they're like, a gap year? I will die. I will kill myself if I was to take a gap year. But honestly speaking, sometimes a gap year is necessary, and if you can afford to take a gap year, please take a gap year, as opposed to doing something that you don't like, that you're going to have to now see through to the end, that is going to depress you. Because also we do see those clients, who come in with depression, with anxiety, they can't cope, they feel overwhelmed, and it messes up their mental state. So to avoid all those things, it's okay to take a gap year. And if you don't make it this year and you are in matric, or you were doing your first year in varsity, I know it will feel like the end of the world. It will feel like you are useless. It will feel like you have wasted your parents' money, you have wasted their time. They had so much faith in you. How can you do this? You will compare yourself to your friends, you will compare yourself to your siblings. But please, after you've done all of that, collect yourself towards yourself, go back to the drawing board, and we try again. Tomorrow is another day, and we have to try again. It's part of adulting, and you just tell yourself, one day I'm going to look back to this day and I'm going to be proud of myself because of what I'm going to do next. Make your future self proud of the decisions you will take after the failure of now. It does not last forever. And trust me, I know people who have failed their matric but are doing absolutely great things right now in their careers. They are far ahead of the people that got a head start. People that matriculated, left them in matric, they had to repeat matric the whole year. Those people are not as far ahead as they are, because life is like that, own pace, own race. So yeah, please don't harm yourself. If you do have feelings of harming yourself, find someone to talk to. There's the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. There's the Love Life call center that you can also call. I'll try and put them up here on the screen. Reach out to someone. It's a stranger. You're probably more open to talking to them because they're not biased. You don't know them. They're not going to be judgmental towards you. These are qualified psychologists who are there to help you. Okay, so please reach out to them. Even if you did do well, you passed with distinctions, but you feel like getting those distinctions almost took your life because you had to fight tooth and nail, reach out, debrief, find someone to talk to. It's important for your own well-being, so that when you start again next year, you start on a fresh page. Okay, I shared my story earlier just so that you also know that I'm not coming from a point of privilege, and yeah, I'm glad and I'm fortunate that I ended up starting a career, yes, out of desperation, but one that I fell in love with. And every time I come to trainings like this one or conferences that are work related, I'm reminded of how much I love my job. I love what I do. I enjoy it. It's exhausting. It's very draining. It's emotionally draining, physically draining. I feel like I also need a debrief myself, but I don't see myself being better at anything else, So yeah, I really wanted to just share that with someone. And if you are the parent to a child who has failed, show empathy, I beg, even if it's as a result of They are negative choices, and these are the consequences. They chose not to study. They chose to go and hang out with friends at malls. They chose to prioritize romantic relationships over their schoolwork. And as a result of that, now they have failed. Trust me, you don't need to tell them. They already know the reasons why. They already are punishing themselves already. Be a safe space for them. They have learned their lesson. They will never make that mistake again. So do not add salt onto the wound. And as much as you want to say, I told you so, you are itching to say, you see, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be a safe space for them to come to you and say, Mom, I recognize my errors. I should have listened to you. Yes, you were right. And don't flaunt it in front of them. Don't gloat when they do that. Be a safe space, be accepting, be supportive, so that they can trust you even more going forward. I hope the noise did not disturb this. I hope the audio is not bad. But yeah, I really wanted to get that off my chest. And I hope you're right, I hope you're relevant. Please remember to be kind not only to those around you, but also be kind to yourself. Thank you so much for watching until this far.
You say you don't wanna get in trouble, that you doing fine cause you got me. I don't wanna break your little bubble, but you gotta wake up to reality. Cause I can see in your eyes.
I haven't called my mother. Haven't spoken to my mom in a minute. I even told her WhatsApp Zanba, Mother, I miss you. Her phone is always off. Landombazana. Let's try and call her now and see if it's gonna go through, because I miss my mama.
Mailbox number 078.
Let's call her boyfriend and ask when last he spoke to her. I miss her. How are you guys doing? We're done for today. The time is 5 to 6. We'll pick it up again tomorrow morning before we head home. Remember earlier on in the year, I went on a work conference.
You have reached mailbox.
Sana. Both of them. I had gone to a work conference and I also stayed in a new hotel and resort there, right? This one is really nice. That one was in Pumalanga. This one is OR Tambo and it's really, really much nicer. It's also very spacious. It's very big. I'll show you guys the amenities around. I'm gonna go downstairs now. We're eating dinner at 7. I'm really hoping to have like an early night because I'm tired. Oh, my dad's phone is ringing. Sana. They're banging upstairs. Nini tata? Oh, okay. Iwe sibaketana ndayi-emaila yazi. Ndizawuphinde ndiyi-emaile because laa mlungukazi wayinikela i-email address wathi ze ndi-emaile kuyo. Ndayi-emaila i-proof of payment.
Okay ke makhona.
Hayi ke tata, noba sebevalile ngoku ndizawufona ngomso ke.
Bavalile bashishilo naye.
Uba akayifumani ndiphinde ndi-email enye akho ngxaki.
Ngoba mna ndifike isithi ndine-outstanding apha ungena kwami. Besithekeleze une-outstanding apha. Ndathi hayi umntanam sewayibhatala intombazana yam seyayibhatala. Wathi hawu wathi hayi ke hayi umntana ukuthi hayi ngawareshiki ngayo ngoba ke sizawunantsika nto uyasi-imeyilele.
Hayi. Nawe ndiza kuthumelela i-proof kwi-screenshot nge-WhatsApp uyibone nawe.
Okay ke maphela. Okay ke phela kahle. Inathi hayi wethu usenhle nanti ubufuna ntoni manje?
Hayi bendikhangela nomama, bendinikhumbula akho nto embi.
ushiye umntwana wami.
Ewe tata.
Okay makhulu, siyabulela ke umntwana wami ngokukhonjolo.
Enkosi ke tata.
Inkosi ke phela kasenkosi mshilo.
Okay daddy.
Phela ka
Ndithi bye bye tata, ndiyakuthanda.
bye bye ntombabo. Ngiyanqanda katata wangu ngayithandwa ngubani? Inkosi ke sana la inkosi.
Bye.
Bye bye sana la. Bye bye.
Can see in your eyes, your head is full of dreams. Tears are a proof of failure. You just gotta let them flow without judge. There's so many ways to be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust the right. Don't have to be scary. You just gotta follow the light. You're able to be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to be. I see you hesitating while you're waiting, like somebody's gonna give it to you. You gotta chase it, gotta believe it. You gotta go get it for yourself. 'Cause I can see in your eyes, your head is full of dreams. Tears are a proof of failure. You just gotta let them flow without judge. There's so many ways. There's so many ways.
I am.
You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust the right. Don't have to be scary. You just gotta fall.